About 4.6 billion years ago, Earth did not resemble the planet we know today. The planet had only recently formed from the dust and debris left behind during the formation of the solar system. This earliest chapter of Earth's history is known as the Hadean Eon, a period that lasted from about 4.6 to 4.0 billion years ago. Earth formed through a process called accretion. Countless rocky bodies collided and merged, gradually building a larger and larger planet. Every major collision released enormous amounts of energy as heat. As a result, much of the young Earth became molten. Instead of solid ground, large regions of the planet were covered by magma. During this period, a Mars-sized protoplanet known as Theia collided with Earth. The impact was one of the most significant events in our planet's history. Large amounts of material were blasted into orbit around Earth, eventually forming the Moon. The collision also melted much of the planet again, delaying the development of a stable crust. The Hadean Earth was part of a much more chaotic solar system than the one we see today. Asteroids and other planetary debris frequently struck the planet. Some impacts were large enough to melt sections of the crust or vaporize surface materials. Because of these repeated collisions, stable environments were difficult to maintain for long periods. The atmosphere was also very different from the modern atmosphere. Free oxygen was essentially absent. Instead, volcanic activity released large quantities of water vapor, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, methane, and sulfur-containing gases. The air would have been toxic to most modern organisms. As Earth gradually cooled, an important change occurred. Water vapor in the atmosphere began to condense and fall as rain. Over time, liquid water accumulated on the surface, forming the first oceans. Evidence for these early oceans comes from ancient zircon crystals discovered in Western Australia. Some of these zircons are more than 4.3 billion years old and indicate that liquid water existed surprisingly early in Earth's history. Even after oceans formed, the planet remained geologically active. Volcanoes were widespread, impacts continued, and the crust was constantly being recycled. Very little rock from the Hadean survives today because Earth's internal processes have destroyed or altered most of it. This is one reason why the Hadean remains one of the least understood intervals in Earth's history. No confirmed fossils have been found from the Hadean Eon. However, many scientists think that some of the chemical processes that eventually led to life may have begun during this time. Hydrothermal systems, volcanic environments, and early oceans could have provided suitable conditions for complex organic chemistry, although direct evidence remains limited. By about 4 billion years ago, Earth had cooled considerably compared with its earliest state. Oceans were present, impacts had become less frequent, and more stable portions of crust were beginning to persist. The Hadean Eon came to an end. And the Archean Eon began. It was during the Archean that the first clear evidence of life would appear, marking the beginning of the biological history preserved in the fossil record.